months since the Congress registered a landslide in Karnataka, there are a lot of bouquets and brickbats both when it comes to policy, when it comes to criticism and appreciation for the government. We have with us today Priyank Kharge, who heads two very heavy portfolios, if I may say, ITBT and rural development. Thank you so much, Mr. Priyank Kharge, for talking to South First. Let me first understand 2 months since your party has come to power, you head two ministries that seemingly are poles apart. How is it I wouldn't say juggle, but to head both these departments? Do you see any point at which they intersect?
No, like you said, a lot of people have this perception that you have, saying that one is completely rural and one is completely urban. But if you actually have a closer look or a deep dive, there's a lot of synergy. So if you see most of our panchayat works that we take up, it's all digitized. And every application that we receive is online. The works are monitored online. A lot of citizen services are being dispersed. More than 100 citizen services of the government are distributed at the panchayat level online. We have something called the Panchatantra, where even the reporting structure is online. I think probably we are the only ones in India who have a very robust system like this. And now we are coming up with the Panchatantra too, which is going to ensure greater accountability, bring in greater transparency and more citizen-friendly user interface for people. So there is a lot of synergy, and there can be a lot more convergence. So let's say your circular economy, that's entirely rural, but has great impact on urban sectors. And so we are coming up with a rural economy laboratory soon, and your rural and social innovations, your manual scavenging, solid waste management, segregation. So there is a lot of synergy that is happening, whether it comes to Panchayat Raj governance and also people-friendly initiatives, innovations in the social sectors and the rural areas. So yes, perception-wise, you're right, but when you deep dive, you see a lot of synergy and a convergence that can be done. And our focus for the next couple of years will be that.
Governments after governments, policies after policies have focused on how to, say, divert investments that are coming into Bangalore, whether it is in the service sector, to, say, tier 2, tier 3 cities. Even sometimes if rural areas are an option to consider. Does it help to head these two ministries in formulating policies? Because it doesn't seem like a lot of policy decisions that have been taken or the policy formations that have kind of attempted to incentivize industries from geographically diversifying has not gotten the same kind of response that a government would have hoped for.
No, here I beg to differ. We have great policies and incentives and subsidies for investments beyond Bengaluru.
Yes.
So the more jobs you create, the higher investments you get, more subsidies you get. And if you are going beyond Bengaluru to tier 2 towns and cities and rural areas, we can give special subsidies and incentives too. In fact, we are also working on regional clusters. So it's just not just because I'm the IT minister from Kalburgi, I cannot just make an IT park. It's just going to be a ghost town. So I have to analyze my region's needs and what we are good at. We are good at cheap labor. We are good at, we have huge tracts of land, affordable land. We have great connectivity. So we need to play to the region's strength and the human resource available. So we are trying to, we have formed something called the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, wherein we have given them the sole responsibility to figure out what skill sets are required beyond Bengaluru, what regional aspirations are there in that area, how we can that cluster be strengthened in vertical specific industries. So let's say Belgavi has a good potential for aerospace. There is already a cluster. Kalburgi can be a small manufacturing units can come up there. Mangaluru has a great animation. We can build on the animation and the IT services sector perhaps. The BT can be pushed a little outside Bangalore. Kolar is already emerging as a manufacturing hub. So we need to identify these trends and play on these things. So policy is there.
Yes.
We just need to ensure that we engage with the industry better, we engage with the region better. We need to understand the region better and get those investments and push those investments there, push those industries there.
That was the point of my question. There is policy, there is an incentive policy, like you said, for companies to diversify if they diversify regionally. But are there takers for these policies?
So we, like I said, have I portrayed the regions or the cluster strengths to the investors, that to the industries? That has not happened as desired. And whether it is the industry minister, Mr. M.B. Patil, or me, or Dr. Sharan Prakash, who is in charge of the skill development, all three are working together.
Right.
We are in sync, trying to identify these gaps, figure these gaps out, and ensure that investments come in. So we see a huge skill gap in these regions. So our primary focus will be to fix these skill gaps. See, once the human resource is there, investments will come. Telangana gives land, Tamil Nadu gives land, AP gives land, everybody gives land, subsidies, your power subsidies, water subsidies, whatever they want to do. But ultimately, what is the benefit that Karnataka can give is the great human resource. So we need to strengthen that, identify the skill gaps, figure out the natural geography of the place, the natural elements that are available for that industry, and we need to be in constant engagement with the industry. See, ultimately you're asking them to part with their money.
Yes.
Nobody is just going to do it just because the government is asking to. You have to convince them, and that requires consistent effort, and that's what the three ministries are going to do.
Like you pointed out, when it comes to manufacturing, of course, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh give stiff competition to Karnataka, but when it comes to services, I think it's Hyderabad that you may see as your primary competition, because it seems in Hyderabad, in Telangana Minister Mr. KTR definitely sees Bangalore as the closest competition.
Yeah, he will see it because he has to emulate us. But I don't think they're anywhere close to doing that. See, they might be growing at rapid pace, and so are we. They have, if my numbers are right, they have more than $200 billion to catch up with. It's not easy, and we are also there. They might be, if I'm not, again, my numbers might not be right, but I think we are growing at close to around 37% year on year, and they might be growing at 28%, subject to correction.
Right.
But they have a lot of catching up to do. We have this ecosystem that we have built has not been done in a day. It's taken us 3 decades, and they cannot undo that in just a decade. So they're playing catch up. But if you see the data and if you see the numbers, it's a very wide gap, and they are our closest competition.
Right.
In
Despite
services,
the gap
yes. I'm not denying it, but they have a lot of catching up to do.
You just spoke about how to build this infrastructure you've taken about 3 decades, at least Karnataka has taken 3 decades. In the past, whether it is in your interviews or in your social media posts or sound bites to the media, you've spoken about how the previous government in Karnataka, because of its policies, its ideology, etc., the BJP government in Karnataka could have cost the state a lot of investment. This is something you've reiterated. How do you see the role of the previous government in Karnataka, the BJP government, or the union government, the BJP government led by Mr. Narendra Modi at the center, when there are big ticket investments that are coming to Karnataka? Take for example Foxconn, or just yesterday's announcement of AMD to build its largest R&D unit. How do you see that when you say Karnataka has lost out on investments? But these are also big ticket investments.
The problem is that whenever I speak facts, the opposition party thinks I'm trolling them. I have simple. My questions are simple. Where did Apple invest first in India? In Bengaluru. We had a first movers advantage. How did that partial ecosystem shift to other states? Why did it shift? Why weren't you engaging with them? Why weren't you engaging with their OEMs? Ola, probably the biggest two-wheeler EV manufacturing company in the world. Where did they originate from? They were the pride of our state, right? They were one of the first unicorns to come from Bangalore. Why didn't they invest in Bangalore, and why did they choose to invest right outside the boundary of our state? They have the world's biggest two-wheeler EV manufacturing plant where they have 10,000 women employees. Why did they shift out? Didn't you engage with them properly? What was the incentives that they asked that you could not match up with other states? It hurts when a Bangalore-bred company goes outside the state. How many jobs am I losing? Why am I losing investments? How should I feel as a citizen of the state when my neighboring state IT minister says that please pack your bags and come to my state, I will give you a better physical and social infrastructure. Now, I just want my friends in the opposition party to understand, I know the meaning of physical infrastructure. Explain to me social infrastructure. What did he mean by that? Why were people not very interested in coming to the state then? Why did another neighboring state finance minister say that we are observing the social churnings in the state, and if any investor wants to come to my home state, I will roll out a red carpet? Why was this happening? We are fiercely competitive. We will compete. We will compete against Maharashtra, we will compete against Gujarat. We are not afraid of competition. But why did my neighboring states make such comments openly about Karnataka? What did they mean by social infrastructure? What did they mean that we are watching the developments in Karnataka and we'll roll out a red carpet? Who is going to get hurt? There is no investments, there are no jobs. There are no jobs, there is no standard of living. If the living standards are going to go down, how will Karnataka be a progressive state? That's all is my question. And tell me if I am wrong in asking these questions. Does it make me a troll? Just because I am here to protect the state's interest, even when in the opposition or as a minister? So, whether it's BJP or any other opposition party, today we are in power, tomorrow we might not be in power. That does not mean you let go of investments and let go of employment opportunities. How many people, have you ever heard any Kannadiga say, I am going to UP for a job? I will show you how many people from Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh are there in Karnataka. Why they are coming here? Because of our ecosystem. Because they think, the Hindi heartland thinks that they can come to South India, they can come to Karnataka and earn a livelihood. Nobody from South thinks they can go to the Hindi heartland and earn a livelihood because of the social infrastructure. So my point is simple. We are here to give good physical infrastructure and social infrastructure for our people to thrive, for our people to prosper, for the state to prosper. If the state prospers, the country prospers. As simple as that. Do
you think the existing infrastructure that has been built over the years is one of the reasons why prime investments like AMD also want to invest in Bangalore, although the BJP would like to give credit to Mr. Narendra Modi and the policies of the union government?
It's great. In fact, I love the fact that MNCs, companies are going to Gujarat and announcing that they are investing in Karnataka. What more do I need? They are validating what I am talking. They are validating that to the Prime Minister, to the Gujarat ecosystem, to the Indian ecosystem, Karnataka is the best place for investment. I'm okay with that. As long as they're coming here, registering their company here, they're paying their taxes here, my people are getting employed, benefits India too.
Like you said, you already have two heavyweight ministries, the ITBT and RDPR, but the BJP and some of your baiters also seem to call you the troll minister of Karnataka. A lot of engagements that you have on social media pages also, but moving on to a far more serious concern when it comes to such engagements on social media. As I understand, we recently did a show at Southwest in which I could count that at least four instances just in the month of July. Attempts have been made to give them communal colors, despite the motive or the intent of these crimes not being communal. It almost feels like there is a trend in Karnataka. Has the government taken notice of such a trend? Is the government initiating or contemplating ways to curb this? Is there a thought process at least?
Definitely. See, we are here to govern. People have given us a fabulous mandate, and that fabulous mandate is for the prosperity of the state, is for employment, is for peace and harmony. That's what is the mandate. The mandate is for safeguarding the constitution, and we will just do that. So, like you said, in the last month and a half, they are trying to make an issue out of non-issues. I don't want to talk about it, get too political about it, but that's the way they operate. It's a standard operating procedure of the BJP, where they want to create confusion, they want to create chaos in society, and they want to bring in this narrative saying that nothing is good. And whom is it hurting? Isn't it hurting their own children? By bringing in this, by bringing in unrest in the society, you think only common people and Congress people will suffer? They are not a part of the society that we live in. They need to understand that people have rejected them because of this ideology. People have rejected these ideas that are not progressive, that do not help them earn 2 square meals a day. If the sooner they understand it's better for their own party, it is better for the country.
But as IT Minister, are you also contemplating measures to check such mass organized
absolutely
attempts?
Absolutely. The Chief Minister has mandated the Home Minister and me because a lot of these things happen on social media, which comes under the IT Act. Whereas the offline part of it has to be taken care of the Home Department. We are coming up with a fact check unit. We are not hiding it. And if you should be, BJP should be worried if we come up with a fake news unit, where we are manufacturing fake news like them and putting it on. We are having a fact check unit. Why? What is the problem with the fact check unit? Any disinformation, misinformation, fake news that will going to create unrest in the society, or which is going to spread wrong information about the government in the society, in the state, we are going to fact check and put it in front of the people. If there is any criminal intent, malicious intent on that, the law will deal with it. We are not saying we are not doing it like how they do in Gujarat, no? Or how they do in Assam, overnight pick up people and go. We are not doing that. We are saying that any information that you have should adhere to the public policy of that social media platform that you are using, and should adhere to the laws of the land. That's all. Why does BJP have a problem with that?
But a similar move by the union government to set up its own fact check unit was also met with a lot of opposition, including by the leaders of the Congress, who expressed concerns that this could be a way to crack down on dissent. This could be a way of to crack down on criticism against the government.
So there is a difference between what the central government's intention is and our intention is. We are not saying you cannot criticize the government. Please, any constructive criticism is welcome. You want to criticize the CM of Karnataka saying he's not doing a great job? Yes, you are right. You are saying that Priyank Kharge is not doing a great job as the IT minister, he should be fired. You are not breaking any law. But if you are going to say things that will create disharmony, that is going to create pandemonium in the society, you are breaking the law. That's all we are fact checking. If I have a problem with anybody saying something ill about me, it's up to me to file a criminal defamation or a defamation case. That is not what we are checking. We are checking in the interest of the society, as per the law, as per the constitution. The only question is, each time we say that we are going to have something to do with the law, have something to do with the constitution, I don't know why BJP just acts up. Why are they so allergic to the word constitution? Why are they so allergic to to follow anything by the book? So the central government has a history of doing what you suggested. The Bhima Koregaon case, what happened? They're just picking up people based on some random emails. We are not here to target the opposition. We are here to safeguard the peace of the state. That's about it.
Well, responding, you said people of Karnataka have given you a resounding mandate. Of course, a part of your victory is also credited to these guarantee schemes that you've put forward to the people of Karnataka. It also comes with a little bit of a balancing act. You must acknowledge that even in your own department, the RDPR department, say the budget or vote on accounts that was presented by Mr. Basavaraj Bommai before the election set aside about 6% of the total budget allocation, about 20,000 crore rupees. But in the now official budget that was presented by Mr. Siddaramaiah post-election, the allocation for the RDPR department is about 5% of the budget allocation, which is, if I recall correctly, 18,000 crore rupees, which means your department has also had to face reduced allocation, much similar to other departments as well. Did the Congress bite off a little more than it could chew when it came to the guarantees? Because this is a revenue deficit budget, the first of its kind, presented by Mr. Siddaramaiah after the Karnataka Fiscal Responsibility Act came to being. He's never. This is in violation of the Fiscal Responsibility Act.
The CM has been very, very candid about this, has been very vocal about this, and on the floor of the House also, he's explained why this is a revenue deficit budget. And this will be, like you said, this is the first time out of his 14 budgets he's presenting a revenue deficit budget. Partially also to I think the majority of the blame lies with the previous government's handling of GST dues that were to come to us from the central government. You know the entire thing, I'll not get into that in detail. But also the 5 guarantees. Like you said, every department had to take a slight hit. But there's enough and more unutilized funds from the previous, which makes up to, you said there's a 5%, 6% allocation was last time, now it's 5%. But there's still a lot of unutilized budget of the previous years that add up to more than 6.5%. So CM is very clear. You utilize those things, and if you need more, we will give. Like we have ensured that nobody, no state or no district or the talukas suffer from because of the drought. So we have given more than enough allocation for the rural water supply as we speak. So and also we need to see these 5 guarantees as a greater good. It's something like the universal basic income. So we are, for every guarantee, if you have a closer look at our guarantees, it saves money for the household. After Corona, please get the data. See, why do you think the Narendra Modi government is not giving you data? Where is the census? They don't want to do the census because they will the facts will come out. It'll just tumble out and the entire Modinomics will fall like a pack of cards. People are, because of Corona, people have lost income. Their income limits have come down. A lot of people have gone below poverty line. So the idea of the Chief Minister is to ensure that we get more people out of that bracket, out of the BPL bracket. So all the 5 guarantees ensures your household performs better economically. This is to bring in economic stability at the grassroots level. So your Grah Jyoti, you're saving money on electricity. Your Shakti program, you're saving money on travel. Your Grah Lakshmi, you're saving money on your household incomes. Your Yuva Nidhi program, the young of Karnataka are not going to be a burden on their family while looking out for jobs. So your Anna Bhagya program, where an additional 5 kgs is going to help bring back the nutritional levels to better. Nobody is going to sleep hungry in the state. So if you see, all these things are going to bring in economic stability to the household, which is very, very important. And where do you think this money will go? If I'm saving money, am I just going to tuck it under the clothes in the almari? No, I'm going to spend it. I'm going to come to the market. I'm going to buy stuff. I'm going to ensure my daughter is married off in a better way. I'm going to ensure that if my child is not if they're not satisfied with the education school, they send them for tuitions. Maybe I'll upgrade my child's education, maybe I'll buy them more things. It's going to come back to the state coffers in one way or the other. So your Shakti program, 55 lakh women are traveling free every day. And where are they going? They're going to temples, they're going to local heritage places. And what are they doing? They're just not going and standing and with folded hands. They are filling the coffers, donation boxes of the temples, which is going to come back in a way or the other, back to the society or back to the government. They are going to their local tourist destinations. They're going to see the landscape. They're going to see a heritage monument. What are they going to do there? They're just not going to go there, see and come, right? They're going to pay ticket and get into the museums. They're going to pay money and eat peanuts. They're going to get their children some ice cream. Where it's all going? It's all coming back. The problem with BJP is they know only how to take. They don't know how to give. The previous government took 40% commission. That's why their mindset is still stuck in that. They don't understand the economics of giving stability at household level. So whether it is demonetization or whether it is Karnataka's economic policies has always been a disaster. That's why people have voted for us.
But the financial constraint in the state, it seems, is also bothering you as a party. There is internal tensions within the party. We saw the CLP meet held earlier this week. Have a lot of MLAs come out complain against ministers, including ministers like yourself. How does the party hope to quell, let's say not quell, but at least address their concerns? Because the number of seats that you won may be huge, but there is always this constant worry about history repeating itself when it comes to political instability in Karnataka.
No, see, the mandate is very huge. It's not unlike before where they were doing a balancing act. The mandate is huge. We are stable, and I don't think BJP or JDS is going to try anything funny here because they themselves don't know what they're doing. They don't have a leader of opposition. Who's going to lead them? Show me one leader in the opposition who has clout right throughout the state, or whom you can say, "Nahi bhaiya, ye community leader hai, at least we'll get that votes." Not a single one. The way they have treated Mr. Yediyurappa, people have shown them. I don't see any leader emerging out anytime soon for the next decade to be a mass leader in BJP or JDS. So the question of another Operation Lotus, I don't see that happening. We are here, we are stable, and this stability is what is ensuring, is creating a little bit of anxiety in our MLAs. So it is just 2 months. 1 full month went in budget, the other 15 days went in the cabinet formation, and quite rightly also. See, the aspirations are high. People have voted, people are getting a little things, sir, we have voted for you, where are our roads, our community halls, we need water supply to be upgraded. So it's quite natural. And since the budget has just happened now, it's not even a week since it's happened now. Now the funds will flow in. Once the funds flow in, once the allocations are done for departments and the departments in turn start the development work in the respective MLA's constituency, I think it should be okay. There is no dissidence as you have putting it, or the media is portraying it. There is nothing wrong with if an MLA writes to the CM to call for a CLP. It's well within his rights. Unlike BJP, we have internal democracy. BJP, it's been almost 2 months, the budget session is over, government speech is over, 3.5 lakh crores budget has been dispersed to departments, and still they don't have an opposition leader.
I can ask you this question because you also hold the post of an office bearer in the party, you head the communications cell. Is the Karnataka Congress government under pressure to deliver on these guarantees because you want to be the show and tell, an example of sorts for the party when it heads into elections in other key states and also in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections? Do you want to be a model state of Congress?
No, we have always been a model state for Congress and for the nation. You look at our policies, and more importantly, it has nothing to do with show and tell or one-upmanship within the party hierarchy or anything. We have always delivered on promises. Whether it is the Congress President, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Siddaramaiah, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, or the party itself, we have delivered what we have promised. What we say on stage has always been what we have done. So that's why we call ourselves the Nudidante Nadiva Sarkara. So, example, last time we had given in our manifesto, we had close to around 165 promises. We delivered on 159 of them, whereas BJP had 610 and they could fulfill only 51. And this is not what I am saying, I think 59, sorry. And this is not my report, this is BJP's internal report. So you see the difference? So it's not a question, we are accountable to the people. We believe in that. And it is our prime responsibility, right? What we say should be delivered.
I'm very glad that you also spoke about Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, and I have to ask you this question. Does it pay or pain to be the son of AICC President?
No, I mean, see, definitely it's a bit of both. But having said that, it's not by choice, right? That you're in this space. But having said that, well, it's what he's achieved is something that I cannot. And I think and what he's doing right now at this age, traversing across the entire country, trying to fight for the constitution, to get Congress talking to the opposition, getting everybody in these hostile circumstances, something I think everybody is extremely proud of that, or every congressman is. And as a son, yes, of course, so am I. But yeah, it pays, it has its pros and cons like any other thing.
So you get more brickbats and bouquets for.
There will be comparisons, right? So now, tell me, how will Sachin Tendulkar's son deliver? How will you break his record? I mean, that's the problem with any second generation. But having said that, people should realize that ultimately people are the ones who are choosing this. Just because your XYZ son, maybe they'll give you one chance, they will not give you 3 times, 4 times. You have seen so many tall leaders, children fall by the wayside because they're not with people. Ultimately, people decide this, whether I have to be in the system or not. It's not like, you can't, just because the father is an actor, son also to get some 4 or 5 movies extra he might get, but ultimately people decide, right, whether he's going to be a star or he's not going to be a star, and something should be there. So, but anyway, having said that, nobody can deny that there will be a springboard, but ultimately people decide.
Just my last question to you. The previous government, like you pointed out, corruption was one of the largest charges against the previous government. You yourself, even after your government came into existence, have written to the Chief Minister demanding probes in several allegations of corruption, including one of the Karnataka Development Board itself. But this government, the opposition, BJP, seems to believe that transfers have become a talking point as means of corruption in this government. Even in your own allegation, when you spoke about corruption in the Karnataka Board, a lot of contractors from that particular region have told South First that one of the officers against whom there are corruption allegations is also now a member in your secretariat, is an officer in your secretariat, in your department. How does that play out when you make allegations?
2 things. Firstly, I'll address the latter half of your question. I have accused the board and the then government of things. I have not made personal accusations on any officer because I don't know who all are involved. And if any officer who is involved, who happens to be in my department, if his guilt is proven, he is going to face the music. It's not me who has done that. And government officers are going to be here, it is going to be circulated from this department to that department, right? Even if they're as a routine thing. So any officer, whether it's my personal staff or whether it's my department, if they have indulged in corruption and it is proved by the investigation authorities, he or she will have to face the music. There is no doubt about that. There is no compromise on that, number one. Number two, you asked that the various investigations that we have demanded. See, when we were in the opposition, we put forth documents in public domain for the media and made allegations. There was no hit and run like what the people are doing right now. They're just showing a pen drive saying this is the transfers that have been done. Somebody is coming up with some papers randomly and just brandishing it and saying like, look, I have all the details. Put it down. Like how we did. We showed you where the loopholes are. We showed you where the corruption was. And based on that, we are investigating. If you recollect, on the floor of the House, for every scam that I exposed, the PSI scam, the Ganga Kalyan borewell scam, the Bitcoin scam, what did the opposition say? Priyank, please tread carefully. If we investigate, Congress people will get into trouble. You might get into trouble. So why didn't they do it? If I was getting into trouble, if Congress people were getting into trouble, why didn't they investigate? Now, they say, the same people, when they were in ruling, said we are honest, we are not corrupt, and we will investigate thoroughly. And we are not afraid of any investigation, is what they said. Now, when we have put a judicial inquiry, we are investigating about every scam that we had exposed, they are saying it's political vendetta. On what basis are they saying it's political vendetta? Are they involved in it? They should in fact say, they should welcome this move. Saying, great, investigate. That's when you will get to know that nothing had happened. That's when you will get to know that we were clean. Why are they calling it political vendetta? If they had nothing to hide then, what do they have to hide now for? Now they're in opposition, right? So it's clear that, like you said earlier, Congress walks the talk. When we were in opposition, we made allegations, we are investigating it now. If there is somebody corrupt in my department, he will have to face the music. There is no compromise on these things.
Thank you so much for your time. I also see that after 1 month in office, you had put out a self-motivated voluntary report card of sorts of all the things that you had done, and you had promised that you will try to keep it up as much as possible month on month, and we will keep a tab. We will keep a tab on that month on month.
It's coming in a couple of days for you to keep a tab on. But my point is that I'm trying to be as transparent and as accountable to the people as possible. So that's why the report card. I hope that people will appreciate it, and of course, constructive criticism is always welcome. It helps me be a better politician, and it helps the policy, and ultimately it helps the people of Karnataka.
Thank you so much, Mr. Priyank Kharge, for patiently responding to all our questions. It was a pleasure for us to talk to you.
Thank you so much.